In this video, I'm going to be covering photosynthesis as pertaining to 7th grade science class. So if you're looking for a tutorial for your 7th grade science test in Texas covering photosynthesis, that's what this will be about. So let's start with the word photosynthesis. The beginning part of this word is photo. When we look at this word part, it means light. And synthesis means putting something together, building something. So with photosynthesis, really means that you're building something using light. So how this works is you have light energy from the sun, or radiant energy, comes into the picture, and it takes some things apart and puts them together in a new way. So if we look at that in terms of a formula, we have water, which we can say is H2O, and we have carbon dioxide. So if you remember, carbon dioxide is what we breathe out. So it's something that we do not need, but the plants use it. Now this part of the formula we call the reactants. This is the thing that the plants need. This is the raw materials that go into the plant to help it do photosynthesis, to learn and grow. Then the light comes into play from the sun in the form of radiant energy. The plant takes this radiant energy and uses it to break up the water and carbon dioxide molecules, and it makes two things. The first thing it makes is what the plant uses to grow, to reproduce, and it also uses it as an energy storage. The first thing and the big important thing, the thing that they are building, the thing they need, is sugar or glucose. And for our purposes today, we're going to say that's C6H12O6. This is sugar or glucose. And this is where that plant stores the chemical energy it needs to grow, reproduce, and carry out life functions to help sustain life. So the sugar is stored chemical energy. Now, the plant also makes something it doesn't need, and it releases it. It just so happens that we need what it makes, what the byproduct is. So the byproduct, after it's made the sugar, is oxygen. So oxygen is written O2. It releases the oxygen through the leaves of the plant into the atmosphere. So this side, this part of the problem, is the products. It's what's being made. So just like Frito-Lay makes Fritos and Cheetos, that's their product. They need raw ingredients like corn and flavoring. So if you think of this as the raw ingredients, the reactants, gives you the products, then sugar and oxygen are what the plant is making. So, how do we get these products? Well, if you think about it in terms of a plant, plants grow in the soil. So there's my soil. And they send roots down, and the roots of the plant are where they get the water. So the water is soaked up in the roots, and it goes up through the stem through a structure called xylem. You may or may not have talked about xylem yet. Xylem is just kind of like the vessels in your body that carry your blood, so it's in a plant. So plants have xylem that goes up the stem to the cells in the leaves where photosynthesis is taking place. So in the leaves, in the cells of the leaves, the cells have a organelle called chloroplast. Chloroplasts are what's absorbing the radiant energy and taking it in. So water comes into the roots, and then you have oxygen that comes into the leaf, or CO2, I'm sorry. CO2 comes into the leaf. We breathe it out, we don't need it, right? So CO2 comes from the atmosphere into the leaf through pores of the leaf called stomata. So like you have little openings on your face, leaves have these little holes in them called stomata, or stoma, and this is where gases can enter and exit the leaf. And the leaf can actually close and open them based on whether it's too hot or not, because if you're thinking about water, they need to keep water, and water, if it gets too warm, turns into a gas. So they can close their stomata and prevent water from leaving in the middle of the day when it's really hot. So going back to photosynthesis, water goes up the stem, carbon dioxide comes into the leaf. Then the plant gets radiant energy from the sun. The radiant energy goes into the plant. The plant then stores that glucose some of them actually send it to the roots, but we'll keep it in the leaf for now. And it releases the oxygen. So oxygen is released to the atmosphere, which we breathe in. So that is photosynthesis. Remember, glucose is chemical energy, so the energy transfer for photosynthesis is radiant to chemical. We use chemical energy in our bodies. We eat our food, that's chemical. We break it down and it releases heat during the process of digestion, and we use it to help move our bodies from place to place. So there you have it, photosynthesis.